Heidi here from Rain Country Homestead. God is good all the time. Today I'm going to show you how you can make your own plastic wrap replacement. And it's reusable and it's healthy, so no exposure to those toxins in your plastics. Now, this isn't an ideal wrap for everything, but it does work quite well for quite a few things, especially if you're good at using up your leftovers right away instead of letting them sit for a very long time. And your breads. I mean, this will work for breads, but you still should eat your homemade breads in a timely manner because they're not filled with preservatives like the kind you buy in the store. But this will help keep it fresh. So what I'm going to show you is some old ones I have that I need to redo. What you do is you just get some cotton fabric and, cut it into different sizes. So you see I have several different sizes. This is the one I typically use to wrap cheese with. This one in particular and this one really need to be redone. I use those a lot. Actually, all of these need to be redone. Typically, if you're using it a lot, you'll need to do it once a year. And this is a bag I made for breads. And I will probably be redoing this one today as well. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to start with some fresh pieces of fabric. And I've got a couple of flannel pieces, and then I've got this real pretty, just 100% cotton piece. It's not flannel. This size here is nice for wrapping over smaller bowls. Okay, the other ingredient, let me talk about that first, is beeswax. So if you're all about keeping your fabric looking a special color, you're going to want to get the bleached ones. I personally try to stay away from anything that's been processed. Usually anything that's white, like sugar, salt, flour. I mean, it's pure white, even beeswax. That means it's been processed, and some of the good stuff has been taken out. Now, coconut oil is naturally white, so that one doesn't count. But if you're going like this piece here, it's white with little blue flowers. It's not going to be white when I'm done because I'm using the unbleached beeswax. So what you do is you want to have a pan. I don't bake with this pan. This pan, I only use stoneware or cast iron when I'm baking. So this is just an old aluminum pan I saved for the purpose of doing this. And so you want to have maybe a dedicated pan. You're going to take your beeswax pellets or your grated beeswax or chopped, and you're just going to sprinkle it over like this over your fabric pieces. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put this in the oven, and honestly, because I've never done this in the oven, I cannot tell you how high. I would say start at 250, somewhere between 250 and 300. You're going to want to keep an eye on it. And you're going to let this melt, and ideally you're going to have a dedicated pastry brush, which I had one, and I'm not sure what happened to it. That was dedicated just for spreading, but I'm going to go ahead and see if this since I have a few of these little silicone spatulas, I'm going to see how well this works to spread the beeswax around as it's melting. So what I'm going to do next is take you into the living room, and I'll be doing this on the wood stove like usual, and I'll show you how I do that. All right, so I have my pan sitting on the wood stove. And these have already just started to melt, and they're not ready to spread around yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this melt a little bit more, and then I'm going to come back when I'm ready to spread this around and finish this process. So while we're waiting, well, you'll see right back here, I've got orange peel dehydrating. Organic orange peel, so I can use it in my teas. Some of it I'll just leave in big chunks, and that's what I usually throw in my teas. And then the rest of it, I pulverize it up in the blender and put it in our lattes, put it in like on my cinnamon roll. You can find a video to that right up here on how I do my cinnamon rolls with an orange icing, and I put the orange peel inside the cinnamon rolls as well. It's really good. So a lot of things you can do with orange peel, but make sure you get organic. If you're going to save the orange peel, especially, you want to get organic oranges. All right, I'll be right back in a little bit when this is ready to spread around. All right, so a lot of this has already started melting in, And this, I'm finding this little thing is actually better than a pastry brush. So you can get a little silicone spatula like this and just, you know, just kind of spread it around, and it'll be easier to clean than a pastry brush. And I may not even have to use this as a dedicated beeswax spreader, which will be cool. These here obviously still need to melt some more, but I just wanted to show you the process. And when this is all done on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. And then of course there should still be some beeswax kind of, I did sprinkle a little bit more on here, and I'll probably still sprinkle a little bit more, but there'll probably be some at the bottom of the pan when I lift this up and turn it over. And I may not need to add more at that point. And then I can use that, whatever's extra, to get these edges here that are sticking up, because I wanted this piece to be a fairly good size. I don't use these big pieces as much, but they are certainly nice to have. Alright, so I'm done waxing all these pieces, and this is one of the ones I re-waxed. And what you'll find is once you have to re-wax them, it takes a lot less wax to re-wax them. The first time you do it takes way more, but a lot of times it's mostly just kind of spreading it back in again, because when you're wrapping it and stuff, it'll crease in certain places, and it's basically just melting it down. But I always add a few little, I just need to sprinkle a little bit on here when I'm re-waxing. So this is an okay size for this size bowl. Typically I'll use this for something smaller, or even I wrap things directly in this. And how I clean it is I'll spray it down with some vinegar, and then rinse it off, and then hang it to dry. Now, I'll wipe it a little bit if needed. I usually try not to have this touch things that are real sticky or icky. It's mostly used for putting over pans and bowls and stuff that I'm going to stick in the fridge. So this size here, and I want to show you, I kind of scorched the edges because the fireplace got a little too hot. This is a good size for a baking dish like this. You know, your 9 by 11 or whatever size this is. Okay, so that's why I made that size, so it could fit on there. This size will fit on this bowl real nicely, so I'll show you how you do that, pretending I've got food in here. You just kind of fold it over, and in some cases you may even want to just use a rubber band to wrap around the outside edges. I've done that too, but most of the time, if it's got a good coating of wax, it'll hold quite well. And then I have this little teeny tiny one. I don't use it as much, but sometimes I have these little monkey bowls, or we call them monkey bowls, or dessert bowls. And I'll have just a little bit of food or whatever, you know, a few leftover beans or something, then that I can throw in a dish the next day, and then I use that for these. That's why I made these little ones. It's just for these little bowls. Or a lemon half. I like to eat lemons sometimes, and so I'll eat a half a lemon at a time, and then put the other half in here face down, and then just cover it like that. And then this one here that I just made will fit very nicely over this. So if you're you have a salad or something you make, you know, and you just, even if it's something you don't have to refrigerate, just being able to have something to cover it to help keep it fresh. And it's, you know, it's really kind of pretty. In fact, I think I want to make some more out of this. I don't know, you know, looks really shouldn't matter, but then again, if you're taking it to a barbecue or something, it is kind of nice to have something pretty to wrap it in. So I'm really liking this one. I think I'll make some more like that. So there you have it. There's your homemade plastic wrap replacement that's reusable and natural and safe. Alright, and then over here I want to show you real quick. This is going to be for the next video going up in a few days after this. And this is finally getting around to making my homemade mascara recipe. So watch for that in a few days. And there you have it. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.